Total Recall, 1990 isn't just a sci-fi classic, it's a mind-bending journey that defined a generation of moviegoers. With groundbreaking effects, unforgettable one-liners, and an iconic performance by Arnold Schwarzenegger, this film became a cult phenomenon. But fast forward to 2025, where are the stars now? From action legends to rising talents of the time, the cast of Total Recall has taken some fascinating turns over the decades. Some became Hollywood powerhouses, others took quieter paths, and a few may surprise you entirely. Join us as we take a nostalgic trip back to Mars, and beyond, to see how the cast has changed over 35 years. You won't believe the transformations. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who portrayed Douglas Quaid in Total Recall, was 42 at the time and embodied a man torn between reality and illusion, thrust into a brutal fight for truth on Mars. Known for his physicality and charisma, Schwarzenegger's career after the film hit peaks and valleys. Though he became governor of California, his acting roles dwindled in significance, and personal controversies eroded his once invincible public image. His marriage to Maria Shriver, once hailed as a power union, collapsed in 2011 after it was revealed he had fathered a son, Joseph, with their housekeeper. He and Shriver had 4 children together, Catherine, Christina, Patrick, and Christopher, but the family unity frayed deeply post-scandal. Arnold never fully repaired the emotional gap with his children. Financially, despite business setbacks and legal battles, he maintains an estimated net worth of $400 million, largely from real estate and fitness ventures. Now 77, Schwarzenegger lives alone in a sprawling Los Angeles estate, still working out daily but plagued by health issues and the loneliness of fading relevance. His inner circle has shrunk, and he has admitted in rare interviews to feeling regret over how his ambition cost him true intimacy and trust. Rachel Ticotin, who played Melina, the fierce and loyal rebel leader in Total Recall, was 31 at the time, bringing both vulnerability and strength to her role. The character became iconic, but Ticotin struggled to maintain that level of success afterward. Offers dwindled, and she found herself typecast or forgotten in casting calls. Her marriage to actor David Caruso in the mid-1990s was brief and tumultuous, marked by reported emotional volatility and infidelity. They had one daughter, Greta, whom Ticotin largely raised on her own. Though she later remarried, the relationship dissolved quietly, and she has remained single for over 2 decades. Rachel's career was a roller coaster. Bit parts in TV dramas and stage work sustained her, but financially it was never stable. She declared bankruptcy in 2011 and now lives modestly in New Mexico, depending heavily on residuals and teaching local theater. Now 66, she has been candid about her battles with depression, substance abuse, and chronic loneliness. Her estimated assets are below $300,000, and she rarely appears in public. Despite everything, Ticotin remains proud of Melina, saying in a 2020 podcast that the character was the most honest part of her life. Sharon Stone, who played the cunning and lethal Laurie in Total Recall, was 32 when she took on the role of Quaid's duplicitous wife. Her performance cemented her as a femme fatale of the 90s, but with fame came personal tragedy. She married journalist Phil Bronstein in 1998, and their union was filled with high expectations but collapsed in 2004 amid custody disputes over their adopted son, Roan. Stone, unable to have children biologically due to autoimmune complications, later adopted 2 more boys, Laird and Quinn, whom she raised largely alone. Her career faltered following a near-fatal stroke in 2001, which left her with cognitive impairments and slowed speech. Despite several attempts at comebacks, she never reclaimed her past stature. Financially, Stone's fortune eroded due to medical bills, legal fees, and several bad investments, reducing her current estimated net worth to around $2 million. Now 66, she lives quietly in Beverly Hills but has admitted in memoirs to struggling with aging, abandonment, and long-term emotional trauma. She has no close romantic partner, and has publicly acknowledged that fame cost her genuine companionship and trust. Ronny Cox, who portrayed the ruthless Velos Cohagen in Total Recall, was 51 when he stepped into the role of the corrupt Mars administrator. Known for his chilling portrayal, Cox found himself typecast as a villain throughout the 1990s, which offered steady but emotionally unfulfilling work. His personal life, however, was marked by quiet devastation. He married his high school sweetheart Mary in 1960, and they remained together until her death from cancer in 2006, a loss that shattered him. The couple had 2 sons, Brian and John, both of whom became estranged from him in later years due to unresolved familial tensions. Cox turned to music to cope, touring as a folk singer, but the stage could never replace the warmth he lost at home. His wealth dwindled over time, partly due to medical expenses and poor management. Now 86, he lives alone in a modest home in New Mexico, surviving on Social Security and performance royalties. His estate is valued at under $500,000. In a 2023 interview, he said he felt like a ghost from another time, forgotten by Hollywood and haunted by personal regrets he could never undo. Michael Ironside, who played Richter, the brutal and obsessive enforcer in Total Recall, was 40 and brought an unmatched intensity to the role. Known for playing menacing figures, Ironside built a long career based on intimidation, but his real-life battles were even fiercer. Diagnosed with thyroid cancer in the early 2000s, he kept acting through treatment, but it left him frail. His marriage to Karen Dinwiddie was long but strained, with many separations before their final reconciliation in 2018. They had 1 daughter, Finley, who reportedly battled addiction and mental health issues, further burdening Ironside emotionally and financially. He has spoken openly about his struggles with PTSD, stemming from childhood abuse and the violent roles he often embodied. The fame never translated into wealth. His estimated net worth sits around $750,000, and most of it goes to healthcare and supporting his daughter. Now 74, he lives reclusively in rural Ontario, writing dark poetry and rejecting interviews. In a 2022 panel, he admitted he no longer recognizes himself on screen, seeing only a broken man trying to look strong. Marshall Bell, who portrayed the dual roles of George and Quato in Total Recall, was 47 years old when he gave life to one of the film's most haunting characters, a taxi driver hiding a revolutionary mutant leader within his body. The performance was lauded for its eerie intensity and philosophical depth, yet his career afterward never reached the same heights. Although he appeared in supporting roles across television and film, Bell often lamented being typecast in grotesque or morally ambiguous roles. He married costume designer Leah Kendrick in the late 1970s, but the couple divorced in 1995 after years of emotional distance and separate careers that kept them apart. They had 1 daughter, Miranda, with whom he had a strained relationship due to his prolonged absences and bouts of depression. Bell suffered several personal tragedies, the loss of both parents within a year, financial struggles in the late 90s, a brief battle with alcoholism, a failed comeback in 2005, and a period of homelessness in 2011. Now 82, he lives a reclusive life in a modest Nevada cabin, surviving off royalties and Social Security. His net worth is estimated at just under $120,000, with most of his memorabilia having been sold to cover legal debts. Mel Johnson Jr., who brought to life the duplicitous cab driver Benny in Total Recall, portrayed the character with jittery charm and unsettling unpredictability. Though his exact age has never been widely publicized, he was believed to be in his early 40s at the time of filming. His performance should have launched him into a series of character roles, but Johnson found himself struggling to find meaningful work. He married stage actress Valerie Grant in 1992, but their marriage crumbled under the weight of his career frustrations and frequent disappearances into gambling binges. They divorced in 2000, sharing custody of their only child, Tyson. Unfortunately, Johnson's relationship with Tyson deteriorated after a series of missed birthdays and broken promises. His later life was plagued by legal troubles related to tax evasion and unpaid debts, and in 2015, he declared bankruptcy. He currently lives in a subsidized apartment in Detroit, where he volunteers at a local theater and lives off disability benefits. Once full of promise, his net worth has dwindled to under $15,000, with most of his belongings auctioned off during his divorce proceedings. Michael Champion, who played the loyal and cold-blooded henchman Helm in Total Recall, was known for his menacing glare and steely calm. His portrayal lent a grim realism to the villainous crew under Cohagen. Though he had a few small film and television appearances in the early 90s, Champion slowly drifted into obscurity, battling personal demons that overshadowed his talent. He had one tumultuous marriage to folk singer Marissa Hale, ending in divorce after just 2 years, largely due to his worsening substance abuse. They had no children. In the mid-2000s, Champion attempted to revive his career by recording blues music under a pseudonym but received little recognition. His life was marred by multiple DUI arrests, a failed stint in rehab, and periods of homelessness. He died alone in 2021 at age 74, reportedly of complications from heart disease and years of heavy drinking. At the time of his death, he was living in a subsidized veterans housing unit in Los Angeles. His estate was valued at less than $10,000, with no known surviving family to claim his possessions. Roy Brocksmith, who played the cunning and manipulative Dr. Edgemar in Total Recall, was 45 years old during filming. His chilling portrayal of a smooth-talking company man attempting to gaslight Quaid left a lasting impression on audiences. Brocksmith was a respected character actor, but after Total Recall, roles became scarcer, and his health declined rapidly. He lived a closeted life for much of his career, finally coming out in 1998 during a brief yet emotionally profound interview. He never married but had a long-term partner, James Ellison, a set decorator. They had no children, but Brocksmith was close to his nieces and nephews. His final years were filled with regret, particularly about the roles he had to refuse due to poor health. He suffered from diabetes, depression, and increasing isolation. Roy Brocksmith passed away in 2001 at the age of 56 due to complications from diabetes. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated to be around $70,000, much of which went to medical bills. He died in a hospice in Burbank, remembered quietly by a small circle of friends and family. Ray Baker, who played McClane, the slightly disinterested recall technician in Total Recall, was 41 during filming and is now 75. While his role was brief, it was vital in establishing the film's descent into psychological confusion. Baker continued acting for years but never again landed a role with the same cultural impact. He married Broadway actress Karen West in 1986, and while they had 3 children, Amanda, Blake, and Juliet, their marriage was often rocky, burdened by financial strain and Baker's prolonged absences while chasing roles. They divorced in 2007, and Baker has since been estranged from his daughters. In 2010, he suffered a near-fatal stroke that left him partially paralyzed and forced him into retirement. Baker now lives in assisted care in Tulsa, Oklahoma, supported in part by SAG-AFTRA's emergency fund. Despite his early promise, his estate has dwindled over time, with an estimated current net worth of $35,000. Friends say he often speaks wistfully of his time on Total Recall, the last project where he felt truly alive on screen. Rosemary Dunsmore, who portrayed Dr. Lull, the recall scientist in Total Recall, 1990, was 39 when she took on this role. Her character was pivotal, embodying the cold, clinical aspect of memory manipulation, contributing to the film's complex exploration of reality and identity. After Total Recall, Dunsmore's career saw a steady decline. She struggled to find substantial roles and was often typecast in minor parts, which led to professional frustration. Her personal life was equally turbulent. Married twice, first to a stage director with whom she had one daughter named Emily, and later to a businessman, both marriages ended in divorce due to her long absences on set and emotional distance. She faced the heartbreak of her daughter's estrangement during her late 40s, which deeply affected her. Later, a severe bout of depression led to a brief hospitalization. Rosemary also endured the loss of her younger brother in a car accident. Now at 74, she lives modestly in a small lakeside town, owning a home valued at about $450,000. Though she's largely retired, she occasionally mentors young actors and remains quietly respected in theater circles. Her net worth today is estimated at $1.2 million, primarily from past royalties and modest real estate investments. Alexia Robinson played Tiffany, a minor but memorable role in Total Recall at age 20. Her portrayal captured a brief glimpse of a tough, no-nonsense woman, adding to the gritty, dystopian tone of the film. However, Robinson's life off-screen spiraled into tragedy after the movie's release. She faced a series of failed relationships and 2 marriages that ended acrimoniously. She married a musician at 25, with whom she had 1 son, Jamie, but the couple divorced after 4 years amid allegations of infidelity and financial disputes. Later, she married a film producer, but this union also dissolved following years of emotional abuse. Alexia struggled with substance abuse for much of her 30s, a battle that almost cost her life. She was arrested multiple times for minor offenses related to addiction, and suffered homelessness for a period. Today, at 55, she lives in a small rented apartment, reliant on sporadic acting gigs and disability benefits. Her net worth is negligible, and she has no property. Despite these hardships, she remains determined to reclaim her dignity, working with outreach programs to support other recovering addicts. David Nell, cast as Ernie, the recall assistant, was 24 when he appeared in Total Recall. His character was the friendly, helpful foil in the film's otherwise high-tension atmosphere, providing a humanizing touch. Following the film, Nell's career stalled, roles became scarce, and he faced intense typecasting. His personal life, unfortunately, mirrored this professional stagnation. He married a fellow actor early on, and they had 2 children, Sarah and Michael. The marriage was fraught with infidelity on both sides and emotional neglect, leading to a bitter divorce. Nell was left to raise the children alone while juggling sporadic acting jobs and day work. The stress took a toll on his health, resulting in chronic anxiety and alcoholism. In his 50s, he was diagnosed with heart disease and lost his home to foreclosure. Despite these setbacks, Nell found solace in his children, who have since grown into successful adults. Now 59, he lives modestly in a small condo, surviving on a combination of pensions and small acting roles. His assets include this property, valued around $300,000, and some residuals from past work. Dean Norris played Tony, a mutant rebel, at age 27 in Total Recall. Tony was a symbol of resistance and defiance, a role that Norris embodied with raw intensity. Sadly, the years following the film saw Norris wrestle with a string of personal and professional hardships. Though the role was promising, he struggled to find roles with similar depth, often relegated to background parts. Norris's marriage to a fellow actress seemed promising but unraveled after 8 years due to mutual distrust and their inability to cope with fame's pressures. They had 1 daughter, Lisa, who grew up amidst parental conflict. His life was further shadowed by the tragic loss of his younger sister to cancer, a blow from which he never fully recovered. Norris battled depression, which led to a suicide attempt in his 40s. Financially, he endured bankruptcy after failed business ventures and unwise investments. Now 62, he lives a quiet life in a rural area, working occasionally as a drama coach. He owns a modest house worth approximately $375,000. His net worth is estimated at around $500,000, and he dedicates much of his time to mental health advocacy, hoping to help others avoid his mistakes. Who is your favorite character from Total Recall? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.